It is 5:05 in the evening with Lynn and Kelvin, and it is Popek-Popek Live. Today, we're talking about veganism, specifically coming off of a Guardian article which is simply titled, "Why Do People Hate Vegans?" And I think this is coming because veganism is a growing movement, right? We're seeing more and more people talking about it, which also means that there's more and more popular conversation about it, which also means that the popular reaction of, oh God, don't talk to me, I need to have a burger now, is also a common pushback. So the idea is, I guess, to examine whether or not the old feelings towards veganism and towards vegans still exist, and whether you have those feelings actually.
So if you just go on YouTube and just search for vegan, you'll find like within the first 10 results that there's stuff like every argument against veganism, or stuff like, oh, ex-vegans speak out about the movement. The Guardian article does, of course, try to understand the hate from several perspectives. They looked at the health rationale, like how ready-made meals, how vegan ready meals can be highly processed, specifically when it comes to plant-based meats. They also looked at it behaviorally. There's the stereotype that vegans are preachy and self-righteous, but also on the end of non-vegans, it's a direct challenge, right, to someone's lifestyle and identity. Many of us tie our identities to our food, and the confrontation is that our meat-based diets might no longer be ethical or even environmentally friendly. The science says that our diets have a strong impact on the environment.
So talking to us about this is someone that you usually hear after the 5:30 news, Sean Tanis of the News Desk.
They wouldn't listen to me after this. After this,
don't
everybody's
be
gonna
like
hate
that.
You're
Don't
not
be like
preachy,
that.
Sean, don't worry.
And also, like I said, I think possibly the only vegan in our office at this point in time. I think
More to come.
More to come. And I do think that across our office, we do have an increasing number of people who are choosing to eat less meat.
Yes.
But I don't know if anybody else has gone fully vegan the way that Sean has. So we thought, good time to get him in and, just ask him a couple of questions about the whole notion of hate. But before that, we do want to hear from you. I mean, have you made this lifestyle choice? Have you made this choice to go vegan? Or are you very resistant to it? If you are, tell us why. You can call us at 77332900, WhatsApp 018-789-8899, and tweet us at BFM Radio. Sean, would you agree that there is this whole negative perception towards vegans and veganism?
Confirm, definitely. Because, in fact, like if I say people ask, oh, you're vegetarian, they'll ask nicely and they act like it's normal. But if I say, no, I'm vegan, are you? They'll give that kind of response, like I'm doing something so terribly extreme. But I understand that because that was me before. I mean, during my 20s, I argued with all the vegans in the world. I'll go on like Beyonce's Instagram and like say, oh, why are you wearing fur? But then I'm wearing leather. How is that any different? So I didn't see that inconsistencies. And when people point out that kind of inconsistencies in my choice, and how I'm selectively compassionate towards dogs and cats, but then for my dinner, I'm having like a burger, steak, and all that. And then it sort of like challenged my ego that someone is pointing out that this animal was bred into existence, kept in pens, and then like raised all its life for like how many years and how many months, only to end up on my dinner plate. And I funded that. And so, but later on, when I aligned that my values, and that I saw that, oh, these people actually, these are my values too. They actually, I don't like. I mean, most vegans are like pro justice, pro compassion, and they are anti-violence. They are for anti-violence, right? So, and then I say like, this is me. That's me. Those are the values that I fight for. And then I saw like the common ground. So it all made sense.
So that earlier thing you were talking about, the reactions that you receive, like what veganism, what sort of vitriol do you think vegans are often subjected to? Have you ever been on the receiving end of a more hostile vegan non-believer?
Usually this is the most famous one. People come on your page and comment like, bacon though. Right. Or I'm going to have like a cheesecake tonight. Or they tag me on photos of beef and all that. As if I'm the one who's going to feel the pain. Because, that's nothing compared to what animals actually go through. So I don't really like react negatively. I don't get offended and all that. Because I'll just think about like how this calf was born on like cold concrete floor and grew up all its life and had to go through the horrible life and got its throat slit in the end and died. So when I compare that, all this like abuse and all that, it's like I think like why am I even angry? I'm not the victim here, so I just like I stopped playing victim, and then that made me a lot more calmer. So but there are this stereotype about militant vegans. So I know why these people go and like they think all vegans are the same, because I know like really nice. I know a lot of people, nice people who are not vegans, and I know some vegans who are not nice people. Just because they don't eat animal, that doesn't make them nice people. So it's just the personality, the individually how they present themselves, kind of thing. So, okay, I get all this abuse and all that, but a recent study shows that vegans are viewed more negatively than atheists, immigrants, or homosexuals. In fact, the only group viewed more negatively than vegans were drug addicts.
Oh.
And that's a very odd thing, right? And I think that partly that comes from a very strong attachment to meat-eating habits, right? Both from people who think of themselves as primarily carnivorous, who avoid vegetables, and also from omnivores who just really, for some reason, value meat or animal byproducts. And I do think like that whole, like what you were saying earlier, the whole, are you telling me you never crave a steak? Are you telling me you never miss meat? I find it that people often are very, very attached to that. Why do you think people are so attached to those kinds of eating habits?
I think it varies for different people, but mostly if I see, it's for taste pleasure. I mean, like you feel like you're missing out on something, right? And I felt that too. Even though I'm a vegan, I know a lot of like true vegans. They will say I'm not a vegan, and then that's fine, because I have this feeling, because like just now I saw someone eating village park nasi lemak, and then I was like, man, that's good. That looks good. That smells
This show
good.
is not sponsored by Village Park, but we're open to it.
Yeah. Something is, if I see someone eating things that I used to eat before, I feel some connection, because that was me before. But meat consumption is usually like justified with this four ends like it's natural, it's necessary, it's normal, it's nice. But again, it's not anybody's fault, because we were raised and born in this culture and system. But in a wider context, these are also the same pillars used to justify, in the past, other ideologies like slavery, denying women the right to vote, denying them the right to go to school, and all these things. So as we evolve, I think we just want to align our morals with action, and ethically we are responsible to become more ethical than the society we were born in. So I think, so then we push all these new narratives that challenges the current beliefs. So I think that's why people feel like that strong connection, because there are so many layers of justifications.
Yeah.
But we've seen these justifications in the past with any social justice movement, like I said, like slavery, women's rights, and all that. So this prominent vegan psychologist, Dr. Melanie Joy, she has said that people are conditioned to believe that humans evolved to eat meat that is expected of them, and they need that to survive and be strong. And these beliefs are said to be reinforced by also like various institutions, because like the religion, family, media, and all that. So it's very strong. The influence from outside and inside, your own feelings, your own cravings, everything is just too much.
We have a couple of messages here, including this from Yap, who says, people are not comfortable with veganism because vegans preach it like a religion. They criticize, they talk negatively of others. They always make non-vegans feel like murderers. And I think that leads us to our next point, which is sometimes with vegans, there's this sense of like righteousness, perhaps, that can rub people the wrong way. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I think it's also stemming from like, I would say, toxic communication, like non-effective communication, because vegans often forget that what they used to live in the non-vegan world before. They used to eat burgers at some point, and now suddenly when they see they say carnivore or a meat eater, they're like, how could you do that? How could you eat that animal? But you were doing that all your life. Like I was eating like burgers and steak and all these things for 30 years. So like that that doesn't make them bad people or anything. It's just like you want to show more empathy and be more respectful, because the non-vegan doesn't know how the vegan worldview is, but we know their worldview because we lived in that. So as long as we be respectful and just try to tell them that we are fighting for the same values, and you don't have to like humiliate them or call them out in a toxic way, because then it just defeats, like he was saying, like the caller was saying, they tend to be preachy, and I can see where that's coming, but I'm not trying to justify here. But why that preachy thing becomes an issue is that some vegans, they are just vegans, and then they don't preach. They just mind their own business. They don't eat animals. They don't consume anything. They do their own things. But there are vegans who are vegans and they want other people to understand that. They want other people to join them and to reduce harm on other sentient individuals, which is animals in this case, right? Why they do that is that if we see someone is beating up a dog or cat, we don't just choose not to participate in it, but we actively want to stop it, kind of thing. So there's a difference. Some people, they just like, I don't beat the dog, so that's fine. Then there's people who see other people beating the dog up, and then they like, hey, please stop it, don't do it. Why don't you give it some water or food instead, because they feel pain like us. So that's the second layer of the action, and they come across as preachy because they've not done that before. They've not. Nobody teaches a vegan how to do effective communication, so that's also a problem.
So, and how do you approach, the way you talk about your veganism, right? How receptive have people been, for example, right here in the office?
I just talk about my own experience, because if I say like, oh, you are not doing this, you're not doing that, then you are putting them down. So if I talk about my own experience, people can't fault me. That's my own experience. No one can change your reality. This is my experience. This is what I went through. I felt like this, I felt like that. And people are more receptive of it. And I don't straight up tell people like, become a vegan, that because
or else
there's no such, because even I didn't become a vegan overnight. I set up a timeline. I first started with this concept of this book, like that talks about a reducitarian. You want to reduce harm in general. It doesn't involve just animals only, like everything. You want to reduce harm. So slowly, like whatever you can cut down from your meals. Like, so I did this weaning off process of like 1 year, one meat. I weaned off beef 1 year, and then mutton, lamb 1 year, and then the last was like dairy and chicken and everything. I just like weaned off, because the last year was very fast, because I watched this documentary, What the Health. Because before that I was believing like if I don't eat meat, I will be malnourished and all that. And then I realized like I don't need all the nutrients that I need to survive are available in plants. So if I can consume those minerals and nutrients without harming an animal, why would I not choose that? Because inherently, I'm a compassionate person. I love animals. And if you ask me to, or anyone, I think, to take a needle and poke a cow, you'll say, why would you do that? The cow would feel pain. But without realizing, we pay someone else to slaughter a cow for us. So if we wouldn't do it ourselves, like even poking a cow with a needle, why would we pay someone else to slaughter a cow? Because slaughter is a strong, violent word, but we have humanized it by putting the word humane slaughter. There's no right way to do the wrong thing, kind of thing. So that when that realization happens, but I try to communicate that as humble as possible. But sometimes the contempt comes across in the way I say certain things, because like sometimes it's just too disturbing. Sometimes you get agitated, and it happens. So I'm a new vegan, So like I do think I have made mistakes and I have ruffled the feather, but a lot of activists are not here in the business of making people feel comfortable. That's also another thing. Activists are supposed to, like the protest case, right? Activists, sometimes they memang do something like this to challenge. They are here to challenge the views.
Sean, thank you very much for coming by. We've been talking with our office's one and only for the time being vegan, Sean Tanis. If you would like to weigh in on whether or not this is something you've considered for yourself, if you'd like to talk to us about whether you have been hostile towards vegans or whether you're a vegan who has received hostile energy, call us. Let us know. 7733 2900, WhatsApp 018 789 8899, tweet us at BFM Radio.
Best flipping moments. BFM 89.9, the business station.
BFM 89.9, it's 5:25 in the evening with Lynn and Kelvin, and we've been talking about veganism, or more specifically, the kinds of reactions that veganism can prompt, because it's pretty easy if you just search it online. The first things that come up are why people hate veganisms, why people hate veganisms, why people hate vegans, why vegans are the worst, and, just things along that sort of vein. And it's interesting because it's a way of life that's prompted by social justice, that's prompted by all these gentle ideals that a lot of us, I think, probably agree with in principle, but just don't want to practice or aren't willing to make that step towards. So, yeah, we've been asking you for your thoughts, and we have this first up from Nick.
I'm only against militant vegans like Pizza that goes out and humiliate and attack people for their choice to eat meat. I'm not against veganism, but I can't be one because I like meat. However, I really hope that the impossible meat or meat substitutes get big and help reduce dependency on animal farming, which contributes in a major way to greenhouse gases.
And you know what? If they get big, the price of it will go down. Because right now, the price itself is really prohibitive when you look at how much it costs. Never mind the fact that it's not available here, but it's just prohibitively expensive. I have, however, tried an Impossible Burger, and it's kind of samey. I mean, it really does taste like beef. It's once you get over the freaky, how did they do thisness of it all.
The lab-grownness of it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel lab grown. It just feels like there's a dissonance between your mouth and your head. So it's a bit odd. Meanwhile, CL says, I'm a vegetarian. I'll share posts related to vegetarianism or veganism on Facebook, but I won't proactively persuade others to adopt my belief. If they have some questions like why I made this choice, how can I tahan from not eating KFC, etc., I'll just share my view without trying to make it too aggressive. End of the day, it's just empathy. If we can be empathetic towards humans, why not extend that to animals as well?
That's a very good point. And I think that, the fact that you want to be gentle with the way you introduce that as well, it's really effective, right? It's not like sometimes the demand is for you to switch to a vegan diet immediately. But, as Sean said earlier, it's like if you're gently trying to do it, if you perhaps try to cut down one type of meat per year, then that's like an easing in process that really helps with what you're trying to do, which is get people to eat more sustainably.
Yeah, and to Yap's earlier point about how sometimes vegans make everyone who isn't vegan feel like a murderer, I think that is actually one of those ways in which it instantly rubs people the wrong way, right? If you come in hard with the traditional meat is murder, it can be very difficult to listen to everything you say after that. But yeah, talk to us. I mean, have you recently made the choice to go vegan? Is it something you would ever do? Have you ever been hostile towards a vegan? We want to hear from you. You can call us at 7733 2900, WhatsApp 018 789 8899, and tweet us at BFM Radio.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my, BFM 89.9, the business station.